Hormonal acne is frustrating. It's stubborn, it's painful, it can be very deep, it fluctuates, and just when you think you've gotten rid of it, it comes back with a vengeance. That's why I'm glad that you're here, because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly what you can do to get rid of it. My name is Brian Turner, and I used to have extremely severe cystic acne, and part of that struggle was with hormonal acne, but back then there really wasn't that much information about it. I guarantee you're gonna learn things in this video that you never knew about hormonal acne, and make sure you stick to the end for the #1 best way to get rid of it. Now let's jump into this. First up, how do we know if acne is hormonal? Well, everybody can have it, men and women, but the Cleveland Clinic says that about 50% of women in their 20s and 25% of women in their 40s experience hormonal acne. So it's not rare, but generally hormonal acne is on the lower part of the face, like the jawline, the chin, the neck, but it can be anywhere on the face. The timing is also really important. Does your acne tend to fluctuate instead of just staying consistent? When your hormones fluctuate up or down, so will your hormonal acne. Also, what kind of acne is it? Hormonal acne usually shows up as deep, painful cysts or nodules, but again, not all hormonal acne has to be cystic. It can be blackheads, it can be whiteheads, it can be pimples, everything in between. And finally, do you have other hormonal symptoms like irregular periods, excessive hair growth or loss, weight gain, mood swings, fatigue, hot flashes, insomnia, nipple tenderness, just to name a couple things? If any of that sounds like you, there's a big chance that you have hormonal acne. So there's actually different types of hormonal acne too. The most obvious type is the menstrual cycle, of course. The next most common type is from puberty. Just those two affect millions, but also there's PCOS, polycystic ovarian syndrome. Of course, there's pregnancy, there's menopause. Finally, there's stress, as well as lifestyle hormonal acne. And that pretty much covers everything else that we do in our day-to-day life that has an impact on our hormone levels. Now, when we understand what causes these types of acne, it can really help us to regain control and address these factors right at the source. So let's take a look at those, and then we'll get into direct treatments. Real quick though, I wanna mention that if you are breaking out and you have not been able to get rid of it, I highly recommend checking out my acne program, theacnemethod.com. Acne has so many factors and each person is different, which is why throughout the 10 steps, it will quickly help you to find the source of your acne and make a plan to stop it. Michaela just finished the program and she had her acne for so many years that she basically gave up hope and thought the program wouldn't really help her that much. Well, fast forward to the end of the program and she's equally ecstatic and in disbelief at how clear her skin has gotten. Check out the other success stories on theacnemethod.com. Now, let's continue on to the causes of each type of hormonal acne. First up, let's talk about the menstrual cycle. 65% of women report worsening of their acne during their periods. Now, hormones fluctuate wildly throughout the different phases of a cycle, and each person reacts differently to those hormones, but generally breakouts happen the week after menstruation in the follicular phase because estrogen rapidly rises and then it peaks during ovulation, which is why the skin has a really good glow, but raised estrogen can cause breakouts. Now after that, during the luteal phase, progesterone levels start to rise, which again, some people break out from. And then during the menstruation phase, estrogen and progesterone suddenly drop dramatically. And something important to remember about hormones is that anytime they fluctuate a lot in a short period of time, it's most likely going to cause breakouts. Now, because everybody is different, I highly recommend keeping a journal and logging when you notice your breakouts throughout your cycle. That way you gain a little more control over your acne and you can plan things, like photo shoots, events, whatever it is, according to those phases of your cycle. Puberty is up next, and man, do I remember going from completely clear face to broken out all within 1 year. And I still remember the first day that someone at school called me pizza face. It immediately destroyed my confidence for the rest of the day and implanted a seed of doubt in me. Puberty is weird because it affects boys and girls differently. So with estrogen, girls start seeing an increase around 8, but boys don't experience their estrogen peak levels until 13 to 15. Now with testosterone, boys start to rapidly increase around 9 and they peak around 10 to 15, whereas girls only see their levels start to increase around 10 to 11 and they don't peak until 17 to 18. Now testosterone increases sebum production, which is the oil on your face, which means more acne. Now, on the other hand, estrogen surprisingly actually helps to reduce oil production, but if there's an imbalance where estrogen is really low or really high compared to progesterone and testosterone, it can cause breakouts. So basically, puberty is unavoidable. It's one of those things that we can't change. So the only thing we can do is to help make sure that we're controlling all the other acne causing factors so that we aren't adding fuel to the fire. PCOS, or polycystic ovarian syndrome, is when the ovaries enlarge and small cysts grow on the outer edges. And this affects about 5 to 10% of women. Now, it causes women to overproduce testosterone and often will also cause them to lower their estrogen levels. And again, when hormones are imbalanced, it can cause overproduction of oil, and ultimately that means acne. So PCOS, unfortunately, is also not treatable. So again, with this one, it's about controlling all the other factors. Now, pregnancy and menopause affect hormones in exactly opposite ways. This is a crazy fact. A woman will produce more estrogen during one pregnancy than she will throughout her entire life when not pregnant. And during menopause, estrogen and progesterone significantly decrease. So anytime estrogen is massively raised or lowered quickly, it's going to cause acne. And that brings us to our last two causes, which are stress and lifestyle choices. Now, you probably noticed that the other causes of hormonal acne are really unavoidable. That's annoying, but it's still useful to understand them so you can gain back a bit of control because you know what and when to expect breakouts from your hormonal acne. Now, the lifestyle choices we make can massively impact our hormone levels, so we want to make sure we aren't piling on more drama to the already very dramatic stage that is hormonal fluctuations. We've mostly talked about testosterone, estrogen, and progesterone because they play a huge part in acne, but one hormone that is also very important for acne but is often overlooked is cortisol. Cortisol is known as the stress hormone because our body releases it whenever we experience mental stress, physical stress, like, working out or doing manual labor, as well as a lack of sleep. It's kind of rude though, because when you break out, it stresses you out, which then causes you to break out more, which is this terrible vicious cycle. So it's easier said than done, but spend time identifying where stress comes into your life and make a plan so that you can reduce it. Stress is a huge factor that I cover extensively in the Acne Secrets book of the Acne Method. When it comes to lifestyle choices, we can have a habit that is causing us to break out because it's causing a hormonal imbalance. And sometimes when we change that behavior, bam, immediately we clear up. Excess body fat can cause us to break out because fat cells contain an enzyme called aromatase, and that converts testosterone into estrogen, and those hormonal imbalances again cause acne. Working out is a great way to improve hormonal acne. It's going to help reduce your overall body fat. It's going to reduce overall inflammation. It improves circulation, and ultimately, consistent exercise is going to help regulate and balance our hormones, which means if you had high levels of an acne-causing hormone like progesterone, it can help bring those levels back down into balance, which will then improve your acne. Now, that being said, there are some things about exercising that can cause acne if you don't do it right. Fortunately, I have made a video, so I will link that in the corner. But next up is caffeine, which is obviously one of the best things on earth, but it also causes a release of cortisol, especially when it's consumed at a really high level. So if you're having a lot of coffee or whatever it is, you might see an improvement by just scaling it back a bit. Now, alcohol and smoking also have a huge impact on your hormones. I've seen it so many times where someone stops just one of them or sometimes both of them, and it has a massive improvement on their skin. So if you're consuming very often, even just scaling back a bit, you don't have to fully stop, but just scaling back can make a huge difference. And finally, diet plays such a massive role in your hormone levels that it deserves a full video, but for now, there's a few simple things to look out for that can really help a lot. So the vitamins and minerals you get from your food are absolutely vital for hormone production. The ones that are most common are zinc and omega-3s, which are very important for testosterone production as well as reducing overall inflammation. But there are also vitamins and minerals that people tend to miss out on. Most people are deficient on those. Another thing to look out for in your diet is having too little protein because that impairs the production of a few different hormones, including testosterone. High amounts of sugar, overabundance of calories, that increases your insulin production as well as disrupts both estrogen and testosterone. And finally, artificial sweeteners, colors, preservatives, all of those affect your hormone levels as well. So now we've covered the causes and what you can do about those causes. Now let's get into direct treatments that you can use to heal your hormonal acne quickly. First up is birth control. Now there's progestin only birth control, and then there's combination birth control, which is progestin and estrogen. And this is the one that can actually improve your acne because it helps to reduce the amount of circulating testosterone, which again, if you have an imbalance, you want to bring that down and it'll balance your testosterone and estrogen levels. Next up, there are topical skincare products that can really help with hormonal acne. So the first one being retinoids. They're really great for increasing your skin cell turnover rate. So basically your body is pushing new skin cells up and shedding the dead old ones faster, which helps to reduce the chances of pores clogging. Now, there's an initial breakout period when you start a retinoid where you probably going to break out for maybe the first few weeks. So keep that in mind, but some popular brands are adapalene and Differin, as well as the acne-free retinol. Benzoyl peroxide can really help hormonal acne because it helps to reduce the amount of P. acne bacteria that's on your face. So the acne-causing bacteria. Now it comes in 2.5, 5, and 10%, but fortunately, studies have shown that the 2.5% one is equally as effective as the other ones, but without causing as much irritation. So you always want to avoid irritation because irritation causes acne. The final topical product you can use is an alpha hydroxy acid. Glycolic acid is one of the most effective ones, and it is extremely good at sloughing off the top layer of dead skin cells, which tend to clump together and clog pores. And it also increases the skin cell turnover rate, just like retinoids do. The one that I personally love using is the pumpkin enzyme mask from Banish. I have really sensitive skin, and a lot of alpha hydroxy acids irritate me, but this one doesn't, plus it lasts forever. You can use my code Brian5, I'll get you a discount. But here's the big one. It's super effective, but generally it's the last thing you can try after you've tried everything else, and it's called spironolactone. It's prescribed if you have hormonal acne that is very stubborn, and it improves acne by preventing the body from producing more androgen hormones like testosterone, and it also helps to stabilize your other hormone levels. Now, unfortunately, it is not usually prescribed for men because it reduces your testosterone significantly, and for men, that can cause some serious problems, like breast tissue development. But for a lot of people, this completely clears their acne, so it's definitely something that is worth talking to your dermatologist about. And finally, this video would definitely feel incomplete without at least mentioning Accutane, although I highly recommend trying every other thing in your power before you go on Accutane because the side effects can be really bad and they can affect you for your whole life. Now, it works on almost everyone because it reduces the size of your oil glands so they can't produce as much oil. But if your acne is due to a hormonal imbalance, you're still going to have that imbalance. The Accutane is just going to stop your pores from being able to create oil. So I think it's still important for your health to address whatever that hormonal balance is with your doctor. Hormonal acne is tough, but you can improve it, and it starts with this video. So I really hope that you enjoyed this. As always, if you're looking for my favorite skincare brand of all time, you definitely got to check out Banish. They're 100% natural, cruelty-free, and small batch made weekly, so all the active ingredients haven't degraded by the time it gets to you, unlike some brands who mass produce and their products basically sit in storage for months. You use my code Brian5 to get yourself a discount, and if you're not subscribed already, subscribe for weekly skincare and acne content, and let me know if you've had anything that has helped improve your hormonal acne that I didn't mention in this video in the comments. Remember, you are not alone, you are beautiful, and you're a part of Team Acne. I'll see you guys in the next video.